In the last video, Hunter made some comments that I need to discuss, because this narrative has been going around for a few years now. Hunter says, "'Cause you're toxic. There are multiple videos of you. A lot of players join me and are very toxic. Then they claim I'm toxic as a justification for their behavior. Hunter and her friends aren't the only ones. So I want to discuss this label a bit. Currently there are 3 videos on YouTube which call me toxic. 2 by one person. There were a few more, but some were removed. In contrast, there are way more videos of people joining me, having gameplay, conversations, taking screenshots, with no toxic incidents in the recordings. Still, so many people are convinced I'm toxic. Why do so many people think I'm toxic? Maybe because if you do a simple search on YouTube of just my name alone, IronGenjin Toxic pops up in the top 3 results. Not IronGenjin Game Tester, or most trophies, or most stats, or rank 1. Those don't come up at all. I've been playing MM2 for over 6 years. And the community can often be pretty toxic. For me also, I'm a big target for many, being probably the richest player, and with the most trophies. On some level I should expect it. So for me 3 bad videos in 6 years isn't actually that bad, considering. Especially if you actually review those videos. The first video I want to discuss is called "The MM2 #1 Leaderboard Player is Toxic", by a YouTuber named AlastorfireYT. This video currently has 19k views and 430 likes. I will discuss this video in 2 parts. First I'll respond to his video. Then I'll show screenshots I have from that day that show my side, just to explain what actually did happen here. His lies start here in his pinned message. First, to respond to his comment that I use alts to fill the server and coin grind during events. Sure, I have to. Many people do the same. But I'll discuss why I use full alts in a different video. To respond to the comment that I share an alt with a player named Seclusiveness, this is untrue, or he is twisting the reality. I believe he is claiming this to try and pin the alts in this server on me. There's only one case where anyone has had access to any of my alt accounts, and that's with staff accounts, used in my group for group activities and purposes. They aren't shared. They're accessible to trusted staff members of my group. Seclusiveness used to be staff in my group, so he once had access to staff accounts, the same as any other staff members we considered trusted. But I do not and never have shared any alts with Seclusiveness or anyone else. To note, the only alts accessible to staff are used for my group PK or primary killers. One alt we use to store donations and distribute prizes. Another we set with a VIP server and use as referee in tournaments. And another to distribute secret Santa gifts during holidays. Sometimes trusted staff members run events or distribute weapons in my absence. This is pretty normal for most groups. It's not a sinister thing. And to be crystal clear, there's no case where I share an account with anyone. And there's no case outside of a staff account where any of my alts are accessible to anyone, or shared with anyone. The statement made here by Alastor is a lie. Alastor starts the video showing himself in the lobby, and says at 13 seconds in IronGenjin is toxic. You see the Santa icon. He does not look happy. Santa didn't leave me coal. So maybe he disagrees. But anyway, this happened right after the Christmas 2020 event. He shows himself dead in the lobby, as if I killed him. But the people he is teaming with actually have both roles during this moment. Alastor had left and rejoined the server, and is not actually dead in the lobby as he portrays. If you actually look, you will see none of his friends are dead in the lobby here. Let's look at the player list at the start of his video. I highlighted the groupings. At this point they had a team of 4. On my side we had a team of 7. I know that looks bad. That's why he starts his video here. Previous to this moment though they had the larger team. And for a few hours. I will show you proof of this with my screenshots. But Alastors starts the recording when most of their friends had left. At this point in the server I'm there with one alt. My alt is called Abominable Darkness. A former friend of mine named Seclusiveness was there. And eventually he wound up bringing 3 alts. An Evil Spirit, an Evil Spirit 1, and an Evil Spirit 2. Are all owned and operated by Seclusiveness. Another player named Abdullah was a random in the server who also teamed with us. The remaining members of the other team here are Stefan 13 LOL, CDog 123490, LCABCD and Alastorfire. I get blamed a lot for the alts in this server. I think that's because in his video, at the 119 mark Alastors says, and these are all of her alts. Then at 126 he says, an evil spirit is all of them. But this is not true. I had one alt in this server. And I brought the alt because they were teaming, targeting and being toxic. So his video starts. Alastor is fake dead in the lobby. Stefan 13 LOL is relaxing outside on the tank. Abdullah is running. LCABCD is the murderer. What shows in the chat at the start is me saying, better than you. Then saying L one time. The better than you is in response to something not shown. Like she probably said I sucked. And I responded with better than you. The L is random. It's not something I'd usually say. And really I can't tell what it's in response to. But it's one L. Not that bad. Alastors shows the lobby again. This time I'm dead. You can see me behind the player list. CDog 123490 is also dead. We are both dead because CDog had the gun and shot me while I was innocent. They had shot me multiple times as innocent in that server. Maybe they were trying to get a reaction. Alastor never mentions this though. If you aren't paying attention you will miss it. Even though it's right there. Instead Alastor starts looking at my inventory. The round ends and LCABCD says, oh wow Chris, I thought you had the gun. Chris is CDog. CDog did have the gun but shot me as innocent. And Abdullah wound up finding the gun and shooting her. Just noting that's more proof they were teaming, being toxic and targeting me. I said LOL in the chat. Because I thought the outcome was good karma. Abdullah was laughing. I told him good game for winning. LCABCD says, I ain't fighting no more, I ain't wasting my time on a dumb ash toxic player. In her saying, I ain't fighting no more, she admits she's been fighting. Then she chat bypasses to call me a dumb ass toxic player. As if that's not toxic. I hadn't even said anything to her, I was speaking to Abdullah. Next CDog starts saying she will send Alastor all her proof. And I respond by saying, imagine shooting someone as innocent then calling them toxic. I was just trying to point out that they were being the toxic ones. I then said they had no brains or logic. That's because for me, what they were doing, then saying, was illogical. Maybe the words sound harsh, but they were harsh too. Next round. Alastor again gives the impression he just joined. 1% murderer chance. He had been here multiple times before this point. I'm not sure why he kept leaving and rejoining. Maybe because I had muted him. Maybe he needed to clear his chats or load exploits. I don't really know. The video continues. He encounters this alt. Then he claims it's mine. But this is not my alt. They are not all my alts. This alt belongs to Seclusiveness. Then he shows the inventory of Seclusiveness and says, I don't know who this is. They start to claim I have bad grammar by using bad grammar. CDog claims my friend shot an innocent too. I don't see that in the video or my screenshots. Abdullah just shot her but he is not my friend. Anyway, if any of my friends shot them, why aren't they yelling at them? I'm not responsible for the actions of other players. Also Stefan says with your ults okay. Had they not been teaming and targeting me as they did, I wouldn't have brought the one ult. At this point in his video, Alastor again calls me toxic. He is an aspiring YouTuber that intentionally joined my game, teaming with a group of people that were harassing me. Then he adds the most toxic person in the server, LCABCD. He is already friends with some of the others. Also a new person has joined the server, WinWinNCT127, another friend of C-Dog. There is C-Dog in their friends list with the name Blood, and checking on their groups, they're in C-Dog's group, so another friend to team with them. Seclusiveness declares he is proud of Abdullah, and will spare him. He was proud of him for shooting LCABCD last round. I said yes, he can be on our team, because this server had turned into a war between two sets of players that both began to team against one another. Both sides had their own teams by this point. Also I said he will probably kill us. I'm cynical. Alastor tries to get closer to me, but I get as far away from him as I can. He gives me bad vibes. Next Alastor gets closer to Seclusiveness. Maybe he is curious. Or maybe he is trying to get killed to look like a victim. In Alastor's video at 3:09 he confirms he was trying to get killed by saying, "Let's see what he does when he kills me." He was baiting content. I knew that honestly. I walked over to see the ults of Seclusiveness dancing on LCABCD, and Abdullah standing on her corpse. Honestly they played into his hand a bit too much. Especially Seclusiveness, who knew he was a YouTuber. I said content to mock him, then walked over to sit on the rail. I didn't dance on her or sit on her like the others. LCABCD says in the chat, "Guys, don't kill the blue guy, he hates iron now. He liked her at first." My alt responded LOL. I found it funny. I wasn't dancing on them or sitting on them like the others. But for some reason everyone was focusing their bad energy on me. In Alastor's video at this point he says, "What she just said is true," agreeing that he hates me. Stefan agrees not to kill Alastor and says, "He's my friend." Just more proof they were all there teaming. And Alastor too. Again he just focuses in on me. But I'm just sitting there. I'm enjoying the silence while they are dead. But maybe I just look scary to some people. 4:14 in his video, he starts spreading some more lies. Alastor says, "Guys, the reason you can't join Iron Genjin is because of her ults. And with her ults she eliminates any other players." No. The reason you can't join me is not because of ults. Unless it's during an event. Yes, during events I play with ults. Same as every other leaderboard player. To avoid being joined by saboteurs. Outside of events, there's a pretty simple reason you can't join me. And it's not at all sinister. I keep my joins off. Also I wear a content deleted shirt, to avoid having my avatar hunted. I aim for organic gameplay, so I don't want anyone joining me. I like it better when no one knows me. The game plays better. And it has nothing to do with ults as he claims. Then at 4:31, Alastor shows the lobby. Then he says, "Most of the people that are dead are people that she killed and targeted. Remember, I am not even the murderer. Seclusiveness is the murderer. He is a different person. He killed them as murderer, as they had done to us the previous round." The round ends. C-Dog starts spamming the chat. Then they say, "Is it that hard to stop fighting for being toxic? Remember just 2 rounds ago they shot me as innocent. And no one is fighting. No one has said anything. It's just funny how they twist things. Now they want to play victim." We are at the voting area. I want to pick bank because I think I'll be murderer. Bio's a big map with long halls. And throwing on iPad is an issue for me. I think also I waited a long time for a murderer round. and my percent by then must have been high. The round starts. LCABCD and her friends all start to go after me again. They say they have proof. I respond saying, "Proof of your teaming?" Then C-Dog says, "I don't get why you're so quiet when I point things out. Hunter did that too in the Toxic 1 video. She kept saying I was being quiet and trying to bait me to fight." Then Stefan again calls me toxic. But from my perspective they are the toxic ones, and all of their energy is focused on me. I respond to her saying, "You toxic. I understand this is bad grammar. However, I'm abbreviating." Here Abdullah tells them to shut up and Seclusiveness mocks them. C-Dog says, "You're acting like you're not teaming though." No. We were clear we were teaming. The same as they were. But when I started in this server they were targeting me and teaming against everyone. That's why Abdullah turned against them. And why we teamed and brought alts. They're the ones that twisted things to appear like they were innocent and weren't teaming. Especially Alastor. So the round starts. Instantly LCABCD shoots one of Seclusiveness's alts. And Alastor immediately knows where the gun is. Alastor has the gun within the first 30 seconds of the start. Next Alastor, without even looking around or hunting, turns around to the direction where I'll be, and with his gun aimed, he tries to shoot me in the back. Ask yourself, how does he even know I'm the murderer? Or where I'll be? I haven't killed anyone yet. I haven't even equipped my weapon. I have no haste trail. There's no knife sound yet. He doesn't appear to be using exploits. Maybe someone there is screen sharing. Or they're in a VC. I do not know, but it's strange watching it. Because he does know I'm the murderer somehow. He says in his video at the 5:43 mark. "Let's see if we can kill Iron. Pay back for what you said and did to me." I'm still unsure what I've said or done to him. Seclusiveness calls them obsessed in the chat. And C-Dog responds by saying, "Go ahead, keep saying things about us." She knows Alastor is recording. A reaction is what they want. Some type of toxicity. Then Seclusiveness calls Alastor a wannabe. I'm not talking in the chats at all. I'm pretty sure I muted everyone by this point. Or closed my chat. I'm just trying to do my round. Alastor acts like he's looking for me in his video. Though I think he already knows where I am. Then he winds up on the doorstep to the path where I will be. Right as I'm about to kill one of his friends. For all his crying he seems to be using some type of assist. And gives himself the perfect opportunity for an easy shot. And there I am. The big bad wolf. Right where he knew I would be. He misses his shot. I move closer. I throw and it misses. He shoots and misses again. We both want to kill each other really bad, I think. Finally he's dead. I know he really wanted to shoot me during a murderer round for his recording. So he could look like the hero. That killed the villain he was creating. That's why he came. So I'm really glad I killed him. I know I look like the bad guy. I have the weapon. Wings on my head. Vampire animation. Dark fire effect. And I'm wearing a lot of black and red. I know that's scary for some of you. At 8:14 in his video, Alastor shows the players I spared. Then he says, "I hope that gives you enough information on how toxic Iron Genjin is." So because I killed him on my murderer round I'm labeled as toxic. Sure, I spared them. The same as they teamed against us and spared their friends on their rounds. Which are mostly not included in his video. Seclusiveness says in the chat, "Kill evils." Indicating again that these are his alts and not mine as Alastor claimed. Then at 8:20 Alastor says, he hopes Nicholas will remove me. And why do admins and testers treat players the way they do? Sorry, but why do players treat testers the way they do? The round ends. We get to the lobby. One of their teammates win NCT127 says in the chat. Wow, talk about teaming. From my perspective, while I was murderer, their team had the gun twice. My team never had the gun while any of them were alive. They had every opportunity to shoot and kill me. They had 2 chances. This round was not won by me because of teaming. This round was lost by them. Despite every opportunity they had to win. Alastor does one last shot of the lobby. With the scary alts of seclusiveness. To reinforce his image as the victim here. When Alastor posted his video, he had added in the description. Make sure to join Iron Gen Jin. And I can't remember the rest. But it was instructing people to join me and have an issue. To get a little salt on their fries or something. For me he sounds like the salty one really, but that's just my opinion. Yes, I had support there, but I still played fair with them. And I wasn't toxic if you check the chats. And those aren't my alts. I had one alt there after a bit of drama and targeting. And some support to deal with the drama, I guess. This was a fight between 2 sides. Both teaming against one another. One side using friends. The other side, being outnumbered. Using alts to deal with them. So why is one person out of 12 being singled out? I doubt anyone else in this video gets joined and harassed on a daily basis or called toxic over it. So I don't have a lot of screenshots from that server. And my screenshots are kind of random. Because I wasn't there documenting. Likely I was busy typing or trying to survive. But I have a few that maybe can add to the story. For me it's important to note when this incident happened. You can see in his video it's around Christmas time. The Christmas 2020 event ended on January 14, 2021. According to an announcement I made in my group. This is my first screenshot from the day of Alastor's video. I can tell from the metadata when this happened then. On January 21st. 7 days after the event ended. So for context. I had been grinding in servers at this point. From the end of October until mid-January. I had been first on Halloween 2020. And second on Christmas 2020. The Christmas event ended 7 days before I met Alastor. At that time, a lot of people were angry at me for doing well. Or for beating them. They started attacking me. They'd call me cheater. Be really disrespectful. And sexist. They tried to minimize my hard work with slander. And all my efforts with lies. A lot of the community was pretty hateful towards me. Due to a lot of the slander. And often I was being harassed in game as a result. Sometimes when people joined and tried to bully me. I would bring alts since I was always outnumbered. And treated really terribly. Just to note, all of the included screenshots were taken around the time of Alastor's video. That was the energy at this time. Coming mostly from a bunch of people who didn't know me at all. Most who never did grind, or if they did were carried. And have no idea what it takes to grind as I did. The stress of it. There was zero respect. And a shit ton of jealousy. And for me, I was still adjusting back to normal server life at the time of Alastor's recording. After 3 months of dealing with this kind of thing on a daily basis. From 95% of people I'd meet. I never see this happen when male players win. Even when they use the same methods as me with alts. Or on gifting leaderboards where they just buy wins. So back to the first screenshot. I can tell a few things. I want to mention time to show duration. This image was taken at 7:13 p.m. It's a random picture. I probably took because the corpse and sheriff. It was an interesting image for me. Not intended to document anything. But I did capture the player list. Closer to its original state. This isn't right when I joined. But sometime closer to when I first joined. LCABCD Abdullah and Seclusiveness are there at this point. Honestly, I remember Seclusiveness only joining after Alastor. So maybe he left and rejoined. Alastor does say in his video at 4:08. This is my second rejoin of their server. But as you can see, the server looks chill. And we have no alts here. Abdullah had started to recognize me. Maybe he was a fan. I forgot about these interactions. He asked me for a screenshot. Then complimented my inventory. I see something here in the chat that brings a memory to me. Flory plays Roblox spammed over here. Then said no. They were trying to reveal spots to help the murderer kill us. I was in the lobby and likely targeted. This was at 7:18 p.m. So by that time some players in the server were already teaming and targeting us. Another teammate Aquarius said God damn it. Seclusiveness mocked them by saying over here. Flory responded by saying shut up. And I said LOL. Despite that the server still seems pretty peaceful at this point. Next screenshot. I forgot about this as well until finding my screenshots. I did get a murderer round early on. At 7:31 p.m. There are 2 screenshots from this round. In the first my former friend has the gun equipped. I'm sure I killed the rest and spared my friend. Since they just targeted us the previous round. We hadn't been sparing Abdullah yet. You can see from both screenshots that during this round I had Ghost equipped. Which is rare for me. It looks like I was testing a bug on Ghost. And nothing bad seems to be happening. The next screenshot shows one of their team had been sheriff. The next screenshot shows me and Seclusiveness alive next to one of their corpses. This screenshot took place 35 minutes after the previous screenshot. With the time now being 8:04 p.m. There's a lot of missing time between my screenshots. What was happening during that time? In the chat I say. After spawn killing at 0. Just standing around. Like wow. I know you rich person. Let me just kill you only. I'm saying that because that's what was happening in this server during those 35 minutes. If I referred to myself as rich person, that's because they had been calling me rich or something. It's not a term I use to describe myself. I don't consider that in-game items make me rich. But it's a way some people refer to me. And here I'm saying it sarcastically. As something they would say. I remember being targeted and being the only one killed for most of the rounds there. Being shot as innocent and them all laughing about it. I don't have screenshots to document this. Though you can see it happening in Alastors video. To note one thing said by Seclusiveness here. Some left. He was reacting to some of their team members leaving. Again another indication of a big team. Also again to note this is at 8:04. 50 minutes in the server and still no alts. Despite Alastors video which starts with the alts. My next screenshot takes place at 8:17 p.m. That's the first time we brought alts in the server. To remind you it's over an hour now. And they have a fluctuating team of at minimum 5 people. We brought alts in to balance a few things. Like role distribution. And to keep more of their friends from joining. Everyone I highlighted in green was a team. Also take a look at the chat here. Stefan calls me a camper and grasshopper. I respond saying it took me 1.6. Indicating again a big team was teaming on me. I also say nah lol in response to Stefan's insults. LCABCD then says. Don't really care fidgeting bijich. I respond by saying so dumb. I moved the whole map. Yes I know I just called her dumb but look what she said and called me there. Probably why I brought the alt since she was being this toxic. Glad I have the screenshot though just to be able to show a small piece of their toxicity. I mean she bypassed to call me a fucking bitch. Like I'm sorry but don't expect me to treat her kindly after that. I know I'm a tester but this has nothing to do with testing. And a lot more than this was said that isn't captured, I was busy. All I have is some random tidbits of proof. But hopefully this can give some of you a clue to who they actually were. How they really behaved and antagonized things. They weren't the innocent victims in pink and baby blue. And Alastor was there for plenty of their toxicity. He just chose not to include it in his video. These are his friends. And they said way more toxic things than me. Trust me, had I said something like that, he would have made 3 videos about it. The next screenshot. LCABCD says to me, "Just because you're ranked doesn't mean we're scared of you." I responded by saying LOL noob. I know it's not so nice. But I called her a noob because of her comment. The insecurity of it. That's a thought in her head, not mine. Then C-Dog says hi Lion. To greet another friend of theirs who just joined. The next screenshot seems to be from the next round. Since the time is a few minutes later. 8:22 p.m. I think I took this screenshot because I got fire from the tube with snowball equipped. Which I had been trying to get. Because I like how the fire effect applies to toys. C-Dog says they are screenshotting everything. Alastors says Iron is my favorite developer. Just a note to everyone, I'm not a developer. Also to note, 8:22 and Alastor is in the server. Even though his video starts 40 minutes still after this point, and his friends were being pretty toxic during that time, he didn't document or post any of this. Abdullah tags me and says I'm not a noob. I'll assume he mixed up something I was saying to the other players. Because I thought he was a cool dude. And definitely not a noob. LCABCD starts to say to report me. Not sure what they want to report me for. Meanwhile I'm just ignoring them and talking about the fire effect. Next screenshot I have. It's another round and I'm dead spectating. But I captured the chat. C-Dog starts to cackle, then says do him dirty. Not sure what she's talking about. Alastor was there honestly just spamming the chat with Iron. And asking me a million questions. Just noting the time was 8:26. And Alastor was in the server. Although his video starts a bit later. And with him seeming to have just joined. Abdullah also says Iron. And I responded that they all needed to learn a new word. I remember feeling really annoyed. Because these people were being so toxic. And Alastor was oblivious, like hounding me. And I needed space. I was dealing with a situation. So I wound up muting him at some point. Because he wouldn't stop talking. The next screenshot I have. Is the first screenshot that corresponds to his video. This is from the first minute of his video. This screenshot was taken at 8:55 p.m. About an hour and 40 minutes after my first screenshot in this server. So where my screenshots would already count to an hour and 40 minutes, Alastor's video starts at 0. This is where he starts the interaction. After Abdullah had got the gun and shot LCABCD after her friend shot me as innocent. The next screenshot also reflects a moment from his video. The round when I get murderer in Biolab. This image was taken at 9:04 p.m. About an hour and 50 minutes into staying in that server. And according to my screenshots, about 15 minutes since my last murderer round. I do my murderer round fair, as you can see in his video. Their team even has the gun twice. Next screenshot. A lot of us are dead in the lobby. Usually I am spawn targeted. Stefan13 LOL says in the chat. I'm Sheriff, we all good. Then she winks. Just some more proof they were there as a team. Win-win NCT127 then says in the chat. If my friends who you have been calling toxic know anything about me, it is that I do not blindly side with my friends. Then they claim they assess the situation. That's a good way to be. But I don't remember if they were true to that. Next screenshot. Again I'm dead in the lobby. I'm pretty sure I had muted them all by this point. Sometimes my alt would respond in the chat. What's the point of muting them then? I typically didn't look at my alt, so wouldn't see the chats. Occasionally I'd see the chat and be compelled to respond. C-Dog had said something in the chat that myself and Abdullah responded to. They must have again been threatening in some way. I replied, proof of your friends being toxic. Then I said don't worry and LOL. They had created the issues here and actually had been toxic, so I found it ironic. Abdullah also agreed. And he said, C-Dog, you're lying. My last screenshot from that server. 10:46 p.m. Over 2.5 hours since my first screenshot here. An LCABCD to my surprise sends me a friend request. If I'm so toxic, why does she want to add me? So just to say, I know Alastors shows himself dead in the lobby by teamers, but I can also do the same. I know he made a video and labeled me toxic, which started at the end point when we dominated the server, when meanwhile they had dominated it for almost 2 hours before the start time on his video, and Alastor had been there for a lot of it. He just chose not to record or post their toxicity. Almost 20k people watched his video and judge me off of it. Some assume I always have alts or friends or something. I don't play with alts. I have brought in alts during toxic situations sometimes in the past. Friends rarely join me, and when they do, the most we do is spare one another. And most of my gameplay is solo, though Alastors' video really did confuse some people. But in this situation, they always had a big team, and were really toxic about it. Which is why I brought one alt after an extended period of time. One alt. Yes, my teammate had 3 alts, but that was his choice, and his response to them, not mine. Other people's decisions and choices are not made by me, and I shouldn't be blamed for the actions of others. Sure, I still teamed with him in that situation. On levels he was being toxic to match their energy. But I wasn't the only one they were teaming against and being toxic to in the server. That's why the others like Seclusiveness and Abdullah had their own reactions too. Sure, I could have left the server, and not brought in an alt. But after a long wait, and everything that was said and had happened there, I had decided to just mute, ignore and wait for a murderer round. From my perspective, Alastor and some others there joined me intentionally to team with people teaming against me. They antagonized and harassed me until I got mad. They teamed and outnumbered me until I brought an alt in to deal with them. Then when they lost their hold on the server, Alastor recorded it and showed things out of context. And he lied about what took place there, about what alts were mine and what I did there. He tried to use his video as a way to discredit me, because he was mad I wouldn't answer his questions during this conflict. Because of his video, the harassment that started in that server has continued for a few years now. This was a back and forth between 2 whole sides. 12 people. Why is one person out of 12 people being called toxic? I know I'm a tester, but I'm also a competitive player, and sometimes people cross lines with me. His video shows a lot of evidence to what actually happened there, but people readily ignored it. For me, I think his video and how he actually twisted things was pretty toxic. I know I look scary, and it's an easy tale to spin, but this was a specific situation. We teamed against people who teamed against us with other people they were teaming on. People do this every day for YouTube videos. Some even do worse, exploiting against them. Yet in contrast they get applauded for it, and get millions of views for it. But like I said, I wasn't there recording or seeking content. I was just in a situation with some haters, who kept rotating friends in and were targeting and toxic. And I didn't say anything toxic there. I just brought one alt for self-defense. If you can get past the imagery. The last thing I want to say is this is all ancient history for me. But I needed to address it since people still join and call me toxic every day. People like Hunter and her friends. And sorry to bring this back up, or mention anyone that doesn't want to be involved. I'm not making this video to create any hate against anyone. No one should be judged. This was a long time ago. People act dumb sometimes. Alastor just said some things I wanted to clarify, to hopefully give some explanation and understanding, to show my perspective. Sorry also if this was long, boring and outdated. But thank you to anyone who listened to my story, and I'll address the other videos in part 3.